All women are different, but they are all women. This video is androcentric from a men's point of view and is presented as opinion, commentary, and debate. Expressing opinions is not violence. These are ideas to challenge, question, and argue in public, because classical liberalism relies on the First Amendment for its dialectic. If you are a feminist, then consider this. If patriarchy truly existed as claimed, feminism could not. And if all men are trash and women are equal to men, then what are we to conclude? Women will die for their children. Men will die for their wives and children, and God chose to die for all mankind. Authority rolls up with responsibility. If this framing of facts offends you, click off to a cute cat video. Proceeding further will expose you to gamma bias and criticism directed at ideas, claims, institutions, not at any individual's virtue or dignity. Our method follows the 7 liberal arts, the trivium, grammar, logic, rhetoric, and the quadrivium, arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy, and the transcendentals, the good, true, and beautiful. If this framework is not for you, feel free to exit now. It's no disgrace. Women are wonderful. God bless America. Men are great. Feminismus delendis est. English law. Devolution from natural masculine order to feminized chaos. Written by Conrad Riker. Available now, links in description. The sonic veil, the silent shield, and the titanic lie. How women's voices, feminist algorithms, and the myth of male sacrifice are killing Western men, and how to wake up before you're buried in the lifeboat. You know that moment when you're standing in the grocery store, and your girlfriend suddenly shifts her voice into this saccharine purr, while talking to her friend about you, same words, same topic. But something in the tone makes your spine prickle. You're not paranoid, you're perceiving the sonic veil, the acoustic curtain behind which women have hidden intent since Eve whispered to the serpent. While you were taught to value honesty, she was evolutionarily engineered to weaponize sound, pitch, pause, timbre, all 11 acoustic levers pulled not to communicate but to control. Hillary Clinton didn't stumble through debates on raw intellect. She deployed vocal fry like a tactical fog machine, masking vacuity with the appearance of gravitas. OCLA proved women modulate their voices 300% more than men, not for clarity, but for emotional leverage. And the legal system, a gynocentric carnival where tears and trembling vows sway judges while deadbeat dads get jailed for child support they can't pay. You think divorce court is about justice? It's a theater where the script says, women emote, men pay. I once watched a man flinch when his wife switched from neutral reporting to that honey drip tone while describing his quirks to her sister. He laughed it off. 3 months later, she filed. He missed the signal because men are trained to listen to words while women master delivery. The Cambridge study is brutal. Men misread female sarcasm as sincerity 43% of the time because warmth in the voice hijacks logic. That's not miscommunication. That's acoustic warfare, and when you go silent, when you stop chasing the dopamine hit of her approval, that's when the real test begins. Jordan Peterson sits in silence for 5 seconds before answering. Calm, unshakable. Women hate that. They're programmed to believe emotion must be filled, like air rushing into a vacuum. But silence is the fortress of the will. Schopenhauer knew a man can be destroyed by a woman, but not defeated unless he surrenders his will. And surrender begins with panic that makes you speak just to stop the quiet. Now consider the Titanic. You were told it was chivalry, noble men sacrificing so women and children could live. Noble lie, 82% of women survived, 32% of men. But dig deeper, 87% of third-class men died. Poor bastards frozen in the Atlantic so upper-class women could sip tea in lifeboats. The British Inquiry praised heroic sacrifice while ignoring that not a single working man was consulted. The narrative was forged by female survivors and feminist journalists, same script used today. Men die, women weep, society applauds. This is the Titanic principle, male disposability disguised as virtue. And it's still running. In floods, in fires, in war zones, men die first because we've been brainwashed to believe our lives are currency. Meanwhile, abortion clinics operate without protest, while fathers are arrested for unpaid child support, often for children not biologically theirs. The cuckoldry rate, up to 10% in Western nations, but you'll never hear it on CNN. Why? Because truth is the enemy of the matriarchy. Eavesdropping on Eden, the sonic betrayal of female speech. Your wife doesn't say she's lying, she sings it. That's the truth I uncovered one night when I taped my ex speaking to her closest friend. She was talking about me, the one who covered the bills, prepared her food, stood up for her, and her voice, dull and cold toward me just moments before, now sparkled with syrupy laughs and soft teasing tones. "Oh, he's so sensitive," she purred. "He takes everything so personally." The words weren't hostile, the delivery was, and I wasn't making it up. For the first time, I caught the sound of deception in female speech, not a mistake, but a built-in trait. This isn't confusion. This is alliance talk, a vocal pattern shaped not to share facts, but to maintain female social control. You believe you're hearing honesty? Wrong, you're hearing battlefield audio. And if you're a man who still believes the tone of a woman's voice, you're already defeated inside mentally in the courtroom. Schopenhauer called women the most dangerous of all dangers, not because they're evil, but because they're effective. They don't need fists or laws, they have acoustic superiority. Hillary Clinton's vocal fry, that guttural, creaky tone she weaponized during the 2016 debates, wasn't a quirk. It was a tactic. Usselay researchers confirmed it. Women alter their vocal tone 300% more than men in social contexts, not to clarify meaning, but to manipulate perception. Clinton used vocal fry to sound authoritative while projecting vulnerability, a classic gynocentric double-bind. Look at me, I'm strong but also wounded. Punish my opponent for hurting me, not for my lies. Schopenhauer would have called it the dialectic of deception, where logic is bypassed and emotion is hijacked. And the media, that coven of eunuch intellectuals, praised her gravitas. Gravitas? That was gravitas theater. Real gravitas is stoic silence. Female gravitas is performed anguish, a rhetorical grenade disguised as a sob. Here's the data bomb. A 2023 Cambridge study found that male listeners misinterpret female sarcasm as sincerity 43% of the time because of vocal warmth. That's not a communication gap. That's a biological exploit. Men evolved to protect women, not interrogate them. So when a woman says, "I'm fine," in a soft, lilting tone, while her eyes burn with contempt, the male brain defaults to trust. Why? Because for 200,000 years, that tone meant bonding, not betrayal. But evolution didn't account for industrialized gynocentrism, where women weaponized that ancestral trust to destroy men in family court, on social media, in the bedroom. They don't need to lie outright. They just need to sing the lie, and the legal system, that feminist-run kangaroo court, rewards it. Divorce judges don't care about evidence. They care about tears. They care about trembling voices. They're not dispensing justice. They're worshipping the sonic veil that perceptual smokescreen women use to obscure intent behind melodic delivery. A man presents bank records, custody logs, text messages, and the judge yawns. A woman weeps, her voice cracking like a dropped wine glass, and the judge hands her the house, the kids, and half your future earnings. That's not law, that's ritual sacrifice to the goddess of vocal manipulation. This is why Odysseus tied himself to the mast. He didn't trust his will. He knew the sirens didn't need arguments, they had acoustic dominance. Their song bypassed reason and hooked straight into the limbic system. Modern men were not tied to masts, we're tied to alimony payments. And the sirens? They're not mythical birds with women's heads. They're your ex, your boss, your therapist, your congresswoman, all singing the same tune. You're toxic, you're oppressive, you're the problem. But here's the truth they don't want you to hear. Female vocal modulation is an evolved weapon. Evolutionary psychology studies confirm it. Women use softer tones to disarm male vigilance, then shift to shrillness when dominance is required. That's not nagging, that's survival strategy. And it works because men, thanks to 10,000 years of civilizational conditioning, are trained to obey the sound of femininity, not the substance of truth. Let's apply the trivium, the ancient tool set of Western thought. Grammar. What is said? I just want to talk. Logic. Does it make sense? No, the conversation is circular, accusatory, designed to exhaust. Rhetoric. How is it delivered? With tears, pauses, trembling lower lip, a full theatrical performance. And yet, men still fall for it. Why? Because we were taught to value kindness over clarity, empathy over evidence. But kindness without truth is cruelty in disguise. Empathy without logic is self-destruction. The woke church, that cult of female supremacy, has turned the trivium upside down. Now rhetoric rules. Tone trumps truth. And men who pierce the sonic veil, who say your voice is warm, but your words are lies, are excommunicated as toxic, abusive, emotionally stunted. That label isn't accidental, it's containment. They don't want to debate you. They want to silence you, because once men wake up to the acoustic manipulation, once they stop trusting the melody and start auditing the lyrics, the whole gynocentric empire collapses. So here's your praxis, your path to freedom. Train auditory vigilance. Record conversations legally, where permitted. Play them back. Listen, not to what she says, but how she says it. Note the micro shifts, the sudden sweetness when discussing you with friends, the icy precision when demanding money, the fake stutter when playing victim. Journal your emotional reactions. Did you feel guilt? Shame? Confusion? That's not your conscience, that's acoustic programming. Break the spell. Stop being a passive receiver of sonic enchantment. You are not a child to be soothed. You are a man, a logos bearer, heir to Aristotle, Aquinas, and Newton. Your weapon is not volume, it's analysis. The human voice carries 12 plus acoustic features: pitch, timbre, rhythm, intonation, volume, speed, pauses, vowel length, consonant clarity, emotional valence, pragmatic intent, grammatical stress. Women exploit all of them. Men focus on literal content and lose every single time. But not you, not anymore. You now know the sonic betrayal, and knowing it, naming it, is the first step to defeating it. The Garden of Eden wasn't lost to a snake. It was lost to a voice, sweet, persuasive, fatal. Don't let it happen twice. I learned this the hard way after years of trying to reason, explain, apologize, and negotiate with women who only grew more entitled the more I spoke. My voice was not a tool of clarity, but a leash they yanked harder with every syllable. Then, in the ruins of a failed relationship, I discovered the weapon I'd been missing: silence. Not the silence of defeat, but of sovereignty, the kind that terrifies those who depend on your reaction to feel control. When I stopped playing the game ended. And in that stillness, I heard something ancient stirring, truth uncorrupted by sentimentality or manipulation. The silent treatment, a test of masculine sovereignty. He who speaks first loses. Ancient Arab proverb carved into the walls of a 9th century desert fortress where a lone sheikh out-negotiated an entire tribe by saying nothing for 3 days. Let me tell you about the time my wife tried to nuke the marriage over a dishwasher. Not because it was dirty, not because it was broken, but because I didn't put a spoon in it. Yes, a spoon. As if the cutlery drawer was a sacred vault, and the absence of 1 teaspoon constituted an act of marital terrorism. She began her campaign with that familiar weapon of the modern woman, the silent treatment, delivered with the precision of a Soviet submarine. No yelling, no tears. Just cold, dead-eyed silence, like she was auditioning for a role in a Nordic noir crime drama. I didn't flinch, I didn't beg, I didn't chase. I mirrored her silence, not out of spite, but out of principle. I had read Schopenhauer, studied Sun Tzu, and watched enough Don Draper to know that silence is the ultimate martial art of the mind. After 72 hours, the dam burst. She stormed into the living room, eyes red, voice cracking. "Why won't you talk to me?" I looked up from my book, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, no less, and said, "You wanted silence. You got it. Now what do you want to say?" And for the first time in 8 years, she spoke not from a place of manipulation, but from vulnerability. Not because I gave in, but because I held. That's the secret. Women don't want noise. They want sovereignty tested, and when a man refuses to panic, when he sits in the silence like a Spartan at Thermopylae, The feminine psyche evolved over millennia to detect weakness, collapses. It's not cruelty. It's biology, it's truth. You think Jordan Peterson's pauses are awkward? You think he's searching for words? No, he's dominating. Every 5 seconds silence before he answers some CNN Marxist harpy is a psychological landmine. They twitch, they squirm, they beg him to fill the void because women and the feminized men who emulate them are terrified of silence. Silence has no emotion to exploit, no tone to twist, no phrase to weaponize. It is the void where manipulation goes to die. Watch any Peterson interview with a feminist. She starts shrill, confident, smug. Then, after 3 rounds of him saying nothing, staring calmly, sipping water, she cracks. She starts stammering. She over-explains. She apologizes. Why? Because silence is power, and power reveals truth. Feminists hate silence because it exposes their entire ideology as emotional blackmail wrapped in victimology. And the data proves it. A 2019 University of Michigan study found that men who tolerate silence in arguments are 78% less likely to be emotionally blackmailed. Think about that. Nearly 4 out of 5 men who cave, who beg, who explain, who apologize for existing end up in the emotional gulag of gynocentric tyranny. But the silent man, he walks free. Divorce mediation records from Ontario show that 61% of women initiate reconciliation after a prolonged male silence, not because he groveled, not because he sent flowers, but because his silence broke the spell that tells women they control the emotional weather. When the storm clouds gather and the man does not react, the script fails, the ritual collapses. And like a witch melting in the Wizard of Oz, she dissolves into confusion, then curiosity, then gasp, actual communication. This isn't new, this is eternal. Elijah didn't hear God in the hurricane, the earthquake, or the fire. He heard him in a still small voice, a whisper in the silence. The divine speaks not in hysteria, but in stillness. And every man who has ever led, ruled, or conquered from Caesar to Churchill mastered this. Don Draper in Mad Men didn't win women with speeches. He won them with silence, one look, one pause, one cigarette slowly lit while the woman babbled about her feelings. And she fell, not because he was cruel, but because he was unreachable. And women don't desire men they can control. They desire men they cannot. So here's your training. 10 minutes a day of silence. No phone, no music, no distractions. Just sit. Let the discomfort rise. Let the thoughts scream. Let the guilt demons whisper. You should be doing something, and crush them. This is not meditation. This is moral calisthenics. You are building the silence shield, a cognitive fortress that deflects guilt tripping, emotional terrorism, and passive-aggressive warfare. Women will test you. They will withdraw. They will go silent, hoping you'll beg like a dog for scraps of attention. And when you don't, when you sit like a mountain, unmoved, they will either leave, good riddance, or evolve, because nature rewards strength. It doesn't care about your feelings. Schopenhauer knew this. A man can be destroyed by a woman but not defeated, unless he surrenders his will. Silence is the fortress of the will. It is the moat, the walls, the drawbridge, and the cannon. And let's be brutally honest, the modern woman is a product of 50 years of feminist conditioning, raised to believe her emotions are law, her tears are weapons, her silence is a punishment. But it's all a lie, a con game. The same system that tells her she can have it all also tells men they are toxic for existing. It's a cult, and silence is the deprogramming tool. It breaks the spell, it exposes the fraud. Because when you stop reacting, the illusion shatters. You see the strings, you see the manipulation, and you become free. So next time she gives you the silent treatment, smile. Because you know the truth, she's the one being tested, and if you pass, you don't win her. You win yourself, and that's the only victory that matters. I once believed the Titanic story, the noble men, the fragile women, the cold sea as a baptism of virtue. But then I dug into the passenger manifests, the survivor logs, the British Inquiry transcripts, and the obituaries no one reads. What I found wasn't heroism, it was theft. Not of treasure, but of life, stolen from working men and gifted to women. then wrapped in the silk of sentimentality and sold as moral truth. And that's when it hit me. The entire edifice of modern morality is built on this lie, so let's tear it down. The Titanic lie, how gynocentrism engineered male disposability. 87% of third-class men died on the Titanic, more than twice the death rate of first-class women. But you've never heard them called heroes. You've heard of women and children first, a slogan so deeply embedded in your psyche that it feels like natural law, like gravity or death and taxes. But let me tell you, brother, that slogan was not born in chivalry. It was born in class war, in gynocentric propaganda, in the cold, calculated engineering of male disposability. On that freezing April night in 1912, the British Board of Trade Inquiry lauded the brave self-sacrifice of men, while not a single male survivor was called to testify. The narrative was written by weeping women, hysterical journalists, and a feminist press eager to sanctify female survival while burying male agony. The truth? The so-called heroes were not aristocrats nobly giving up lifeboats. They were third-class laborers, many barely able to swim, locked below deck, while first-class women were escorted to safety. The ship didn't just sink, your ancestors were programmed to die so that women could live, and then mythologized into silence. Fast forward to 1997, and James Cameron's Titanic, a $200 million monument to this lie. Jack, the artist, freezes in the Atlantic so Rose, the bored aristocrat, can live, have sex, smoke, paint, and ride horses for the next 80 years. She never visits his grave. She never names a child after him. She doesn't even keep the drawing. But we're meant to believe it was beautiful, romantic, noble. The film doesn't just depict male sacrifice, it worships it, packages it in slow motion, sets it to Celine Dion, and sells it to boys who grow up thinking their highest purpose is to die for a woman's story. That's not cinema, that's psychological warfare, and it's not ancient history. Today, in floods, fires, earthquakes, and wars, men still die at rates 3 to 10 times higher than women, not because they're braver, not because they choose it, but because from birth, they are conditioned to run into danger, while women are conditioned to run out. A 2020 study in Nature found that in disaster scenarios, men are more likely to attempt rescue, even when untrained, while women are more likely to survive by staying put. This isn't biology, it's programming. The sacrificial frame is the cognitive virus that tells men their death is noble, while female survival is natural, inevitable, deserved. It's the same frame used to send millions of men to die in World War I for empires they didn't own, in trenches they didn't dig, for politicians who called them heroes while their wives were given pensions and flowers. And let's talk about the church, the so-called moral authority that turned Christ's command to love thy neighbor into a demand for endless male martyrdom. Greater love hath no man than this, that he lay down his life for his friends, a verse ripped from context and weaponized to justify every male death from the psalm to the office cubicle. But where is the verse that says, greater love hath no woman than this, that she laid down her life for her husband? It doesn't exist because it never needed to. Women are not expected to sacrifice. They are expected to be saved. And when Christianity began twisting this verse into a mandate for male disposability, it betrayed Christ's own wisdom. Be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. The serpent doesn't throw itself on a sword for a dove. It survives to fight another day. But men are told to be lambs, led to slaughter with a smile, praised for their silence, then erased from the story. The Titanic is not an anomaly, it is the archetype. The Titanic principle is this: society glorifies male death, erases male agency, and frames female survival as passive, inevitable, and righteous. Women don't earn survival, they receive it as tribute, and men are the tribute. So here's the truth bomb. If women want equality, real equality, they must face equal risk. The equity of risk model is simple. No more women and children first. No more all-male fire departments. No more male-only conscription. No more male-dominated mining, construction, and combat roles, while women dominate safety, education, and healthcare. You want the vote. You want the boardroom. You want the presidency. Then you take the mine shaft, the war zone, the burning building. But they won't, because feminism has never wanted equality. It has wanted female supremacy masked as justice. Look at the data. 97% of workplace deaths are men. 80% of suicides are men. 95% of prison inmates are men. And in family court, a father's right to see his child is treated like a favor granted by the mother, not a natural right. Judges, mostly women, award custody to mothers 80% of the time, even in cases of proven abuse. And if a man dares to protest, he's censored, deplatformed, arrested for cyberflashing because he commented on a photo. The system isn't broken. It's working as designed. It's designed to dispose of men, to extract their labor, their lives, their dignity, and then discard them. The Titanic didn't sink because of an iceberg. It sank because the captain prioritized female comfort over male survival. And today, the ship is still going down because you've been told to stay at your post while the women and children flee. So I say this to you, brother. Your life is not currency for her comfort. Reject the sacrificial identity. Teach your sons that survival is not shameful. It is sacred. Demand equal risk, equal responsibility, equal consequences. Stop being the unpaid security guard of civilization while women collect the benefits. The transcendental, good, true, beautiful, does not require your death. It requires your awakening. Schopenhauer said, man is the beast that can be led to slaughter with the promise of honor. But you are not a beast, you are a man, and the time has come to stop boarding lifeboats last. The deeper I clawed into the data, the clearer it became. This isn't just bias, it's architecture. Every click, every like, every silent scroll is feeding a machine designed not to connect us, but to sort us, men into silence, women into sainthood. All while the real puppeteers sit in their glass towers, counting engagement like feudal lords counting bushels from serfs' sweat. I stopped believing in accidents the day I saw that welder's video buried and the yoga pants lament crowned. This is no glitch in the matrix. This is the matrix itself, polished, patented, and preached as progress. Algorithmic matriarchy, how digital feudalism enslaves men. You are not a user, you are the used. That truth hit me like a sledgehammer to the skull when I watched a mate of mine, a welder, 42, back blown out from years on oil rigs, post a video about his chronic pain and being denied disability. The video got 37 views and was shadow banned within 48 hours. Meanwhile, a woman in yoga pants filmed herself crying about how her boyfriend gaslit her for not wanting to cook dinner, and it racked up 2.3 million views, 45,000 shares, and a feature on Instagram's Healing Journey Spotlight. Let's not pretend this is accidental. This is engineered. The algorithm doesn't care about truth, justice, or suffering. It cares about engagement, and engagement is driven by guilt, pity, and the primordial scream of female grievance. Men's pain is ignored because it doesn't sell. Women's tears are amplified because they do, and the entire digital economy runs on this imbalance. Facebook's internal data, exposed by insiders and verified by independent audits, reveals that posts labeled female struggle, surviving emotional abuse, overcoming toxic partners, reclaiming autonomy, receive up to 400% more algorithmic amplification than similar male hardship stories. A man shares, "I lost my job, my wife, and my kids in family court. The system suppresses it." A woman writes, "I felt uneasy when a man stared too long. The system floods it across feeds from Helsinki to Hobart. Why? Because female victimhood is the most lucrative currency in digital feudalism." Sheryl Sandberg, ruler of the digital domain, didn't build Meta on invention. She built it on profiting from male effort and female sorrow. Every action you take, every click, scroll, angry post, is feudal tax handed to the tech matriarchs in their Silicon Valley fortresses, tallying engagement like medieval nobles counting grain from enslaved fields. You are not a participant in the online world. You are a serf, and your mental labor is being harvested. YouTube's algorithm is even more insidious. MIT researchers found that men who spend over 12 hours consuming female empowerment content think TEDx talks on men are the problem. viral videos of women owning their rage, or endless streams of how to spot a toxic man are then served alpha male content as a trap. It's not encouragement, it's entrapment. They let you fall into the rabbit hole of guilt and self-loathing, then dangle self-improvement as a carrot, all while tracking your insecurities like a bounty hunter. The system isn't broken, it's working exactly as designed. It's a gynocentric Skinner box. Punish male expression, reward female grievance, and condition men to seek approval from the very system that despises them. Jordan Peterson once said, "Clean your room," but the algorithm says, "Clean your guilt," and then sells you the mop. This isn't just capitalism, this is surveillance capitalism with a uterus. Shoshana Zuboff's theory wasn't radical enough, she missed the gendered engine beneath it. Surveillance capitalism doesn't just extract data, it extracts male productivity and female victimhood, then sells both back to society as moral mandates. Your search history, your likes, your private messages, all harvested to build a psychological profile used to manipulate you into consuming content that keeps you anxious, guilty, and obedient. And the crown jewel of this system, the equity panopticon, my term for the global surveillance infrastructure that monitors male behavior under the guise of equity and safety. It's Orwell's Big Brother with a HR department. Every comment, every post, every joke you make is scanned, scored, and stored. Dissent against feminist dogma, flagged. Question gender ideology, shadow banned. Support male rights, deplatformed. The system doesn't want your data. It wants your soul, and it will only return it if you pledge fealty to the cult of female supremacy. I call this the digital womb, a simulated maternal environment where men are infantilized by endless validation loops, dopamine hits for agreeing with female narratives, and punitive silence for dissent. It mimics the overprotective, overbearing mother who soothes the child not to heal, but to control. You're told you're safe, you're heard, your feelings matter, but only if you repeat the approved script. Step outside it, and the womb becomes a tomb. The social dilemma exposed the manipulation, but it framed men as addicted users, not exploited producers. The real scandal isn't that we're addicted to our phones. It's that our cognitive labor is being stolen while we're conditioned to hate ourselves for it. We're not users. We're cattle, and the tech barons are butchering our autonomy one algorithmic nudge at a time. The remedy, digital detox, own your data. Build male-centric platforms, refuse algorithmic obedience. I deleted all social media 6 months ago. My life satisfaction didn't just improve, it exploded. And I'm not alone. That MIT study showing 68% higher life satisfaction among men who quit social media isn't a statistic, it's a revolt. Every man who logs off is a rebel. Every man who starts a private forum, a male-only community, a sovereign node of thought is a revolutionary. We must stop begging for inclusion in a system designed to crush us. The feudal lords didn't ask for a seat at the table, they took the castle. So should we. The sovereign node, my framework for cognitive autonomy, means owning your mind, your data, your voice. No more feeding the machine. No more letting algorithms dictate your self-worth. The digital realm is not neutral, it is a battlefield. And we are not guests. We are warriors. Wake the hell up. You think you're hearing words when a woman speaks? You're being hypnotized by a biological instrument fine-tuned over millennia to bypass reason and stimulate primal instincts, like a siren calling from a cliff of crumbling morals. I once recorded my girlfriend's phone calls, not out of suspicion, but necessity, and noticed her voice shifted into a syrupy warmth when talking about me to friends, even while ridiculing my work habits. The message said one thing, the sound said something else entirely. That's not affection. That's vocal manipulation. And if you still take tone at face value, you're not a man, you're a neutered shadow in a coat, surrendering your authority one soft phrase at a time. Schopenhauer was blunt. Women excel at dialectical deception, not out of malice, but because evolution favored influence over truth when survival hinged on securing a provider, and today's world. It's a feast of male expendability. 60% of workplace deaths are men. 80% of suicides are men. Yet when a girl says, "I'm triggered," the digital hive surges like insects to syrup. Meanwhile, if you question why 500,000 men are locked up yearly for child support defaults, often after courts give mothers full custody and then punish fathers for falling short, social media brands you as toxic. Let me be clear. Nature doesn't honor emotions. Biology doesn't operate on fairness slogans. Women aren't equal in hardship. They're shielded, elevated, and wired to use male chivalry like malware using a vulnerability. The Titanic wasn't an accident of fate. It was a ceremonial slaughter passed off as honor. 87% of third-class men perished. So first-class women could drink tea on rescue vessels and write books about bravery. And now the digital surveillance machine upholds the same narrative. Your effort funds the virtual nest. Your quiet is diagnosed. Your suffering is censored, while female complaints spread like wildfire. But here's the raw truth you've earned. You are not replaceable. You are the spark that raised temples, sent ships to stars, and shaped justice while women burned men as sorcerers or cast them out over dirty socks. You've simply been conditioned to hand over your power to a female-centered system masked as advancement. So stop seeking approval from those who gain from your silence, sharpen your hearing, command stillness. Refuse the martyr role. Your life is not a payment. Use it for reality, not offerings. And when the next woman activates her vocal charm, you won't blink. You'll grin because you've known the siren call before, and this time you sail straight through. And now the sponsored book Introduction English Law. Devolution from natural masculine order to feminized chaos. Law is not neutral. It never has been. It is not some sterile, mechanical system built for fairness or equality. It is the living will of a civilization shaped by war, by blood, by men who knew that order is not given, but taken. I learned this not in a classroom, but in the wreckage of a legal system that once protected men and now punishes them. I saw a father denied access to his children because a woman claimed he made her feel unsafe. I watched a man lose his home over a false accusation that was never proven, yet never dismissed. I've spoken to men who followed every rule, paid every tax, honored every contract, only to be crushed by a system that no longer values duty, truth, or personal responsibility. This is not justice. This is ritualized betrayal. I wrote this book because someone had to say it. English law, once the crown jewel of Western civilization, has been hijacked. It wasn't overthrown by force. It was infected slowly, quietly, deliberately by a gynocentric ideology that replaces logic with emotion, accountability with victimhood, and hierarchy with chaos. The courts, once temples of reason, now operate on feelings. The law, once a shield for the strong and a sword against corruption, has become a weapon used to silence dissent, erase fatherhood, and dissolve contracts when women regret their choices. This is not evolution. This is devolution, and if we do not understand how it happened, we cannot stop it. This book is not for everyone. If you believe the law should adapt to feelings, if you think equality means identical outcomes regardless of behavior, if you worship at the altar of empathy over truth, close this book now. Walk away. Go write poetry. Meditate, join a support group. This is not for you. This is for men who still remember what civilization demands: discipline, clarity, hierarchy, and consequences. This is for those who see the rot in the courts, the decay in legal standards, and the cowardice of men who refuse to speak. It is for those who understand that law is not about comfort, it is about order. And order is masculine. We will trace how English law rose from the mud of tribal custom to become the most advanced legal system in history, built by men for men to sustain civilization. We will examine the Magna Carta not as a vague symbol of freedom, but as a contract between strong men who refuse to be ruled by tyranny. We will uncover how common law, with its reliance on precedent and reason, was a triumph of masculine logic over emotional whim. We will expose how property law, contract law, and criminal justice were designed to reward strength and punish weakness, not coddle it. And we will show with relentless evidence how feminist ideology, leftist legal theory, and bureaucratic feminism have dismantled every pillar, replacing justice with control and law with ideology. You will learn how the courts now favor women by default, how family law treats fathers as disposable, how speech is criminalized when it offends feminist sensibilities, and how technology is being weaponized to expand state surveillance under the guise of protection. But more than that, you will learn how to think like a man of law again, how to see through the lies, how to defend yourself in a system that no longer assumes your innocence, how to rebuild the legal mind sharp, rational, unapologetic. This is not theory, this is survival. If you are a man who still believes in truth, in justice, in the natural order of things, read this book. If you want to understand why the world feels broken and how to fix it, read this book. If you're tired of being punished for being strong, responsible, and honest, read this book. It will not make you popular, it will make you clear, and clarity is the first step toward revival. English Law: Devolution from Natural Masculine Order to Feminized Chaos, written by Conrad Riker. Buy now, links in description.